2 hours of podcast boiled down into 10 minutes of pure wisdom, distilled into stories you can see, because wisdom is too valuable to be left buried in hours of talk. Welcome to CartoonCast, podcast wisdom simplified. Today's wisdom comes from Mohnish Pabrai, a legendary investor and entrepreneur who turned a small business into a global empire. His real genius? He didn't start from scratch. He started from Buffett. Page by page, he studied the master's playbook, absorbed the principles, and built his own Pabrai investments. The lesson? Greatness often begins by learning from the greatest. The host? Stephen Bartlett. Sharp, curious, always asking the questions we wish we could. From business to mindset, he digs, he listens, he laughs, and somehow always finds the question behind the question. His podcast, The Diary of a CEO, dives deep into the journeys of world leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers. In his world, curiosity never ends. It just unrolls, one thought at a time. Welcome to CartoonCast Studio, where ideas and questions never stop growing. Mohnish Pabrai's first big idea sounds almost unfair. But in business, being unfair is kind of the point. Because when the rules reward the bold, fairness becomes optional. Imagine business as one giant board game. Everyone starts at zero, rolling dice, hoping luck and skill finally line up. Some sweat over every move, every risk, while others, they just teleport ahead. And that's where the story begins. He says, don't invent, copy. Why struggle to paint the original when you can print a masterpiece that shines? Cloning, one of the smartest tools. Microsoft proved software could rule the world. Walmart mastered scale. Starbucks brewed culture. Facebook connected everyone. McDonald's served speed to the world. The smart ones don't reinvent, they clone. Microsoft didn't start by inventing, it started by copying smart. First came Word, straight out of WordPerfect. Then Excel, a sharper echo of Lotus 123. And Bing? Well, let's just say that one's still printing. Walmart? Sam Walton openly admitted, I have no original ideas. He copied Sears, he copied Kmart, and then executed better. He even dragged his family on road trips, making them wait in the car, while he ran into random stores to study candle displays. Starbucks? Howard Schultz simply copied the Italian espresso bar. One sip, one idea. He didn't invent espresso culture, he carried it beyond Italy. One idea took flight from Milan's sky to the New World. He landed and planted that spark on new ground. The light grew, leaf by leaf, into a green-crowned store. Soon, people everywhere stood in line for a taste of that idea, a sip of connection, of comfort, of possibility, from one spark in Italy to a habit shared by the whole world. History's full of clones. Ford copied the slaughterhouse. Pepsi copied Coke. Fast food copied diners. The world copied what worked. Two brothers in California peeked over a fence and saw a new way to cook. Faster, cheaper, cleaner. While old burger joints stood still, buried in grease and smoke. Decades later, the same story replayed online. A college kid looked at an old social site and cloned connection itself. That copy, it became Facebook. Even Apple's first computer, a clone of Xerox's graphical interface. Steve Jobs didn't steal the computer. just the idea of clicking folders. The genius wasn't in inventing. Some people spend their lives pushing square wheels, sweating, straining, convinced they're making history. Progress often starts with the one who stops pushing, looks around, and realizes round wheels already exist. Mohnish Pabrai's brilliance wasn't building something new. It was seeing what worked and using it better, because sometimes genius isn't invention, it's recognition. The genius was in copying smartly, not stealing ideas, studying them, seeing what already works and asking, how can I make this just a little better? That's what separates imitation from innovation. Mohnish Pabrai calls it cloning with intelligence. Take a proven model, add your own tweak, and suddenly it's yours. Sometimes the smartest creation is just a smarter copy. And then comes the takeoff. The cloner doesn't crawl from the start line, he launches. While the original's weighed down by perfectionism and old habits, the cloner plus tweaker moves light, fast, optimized. He studies what worked, trims the drag, and adds just enough thrust to fly past. In business, it's not about who starts first. It's about who learns to accelerate smarter. The answers are already out there in plain sight. A crowded cafe that never empties, an app everyone taps without even thinking, a store where the line never ends. Genius doesn't always invent new demand. It recognizes existing success. So Pabrai shines a light, studies what works, and asks only one question: how can I clone this and make it shine brighter? People say entrepreneurs are risk takers, jumping off cliffs trying to build the plane on the way down. Crowds call it bravery. He just sees gravity. Mohnish looks at all that drama and says, total nonsense. Just logic and calm profit. The best entrepreneurs aren't gamblers at all. They're obsessed with reducing risk, pushing it down, step by step, until it's almost zero. They build safety into every part of the business, with models that survive any storm, systems that protect, and contracts that shield. To them, courage isn't chaos, it's control. Take Richard Branson, the wild billionaire, founder of Virgin, a proof that business can fly higher than fear. But here's what really happened. Behind the fireworks and the headlines, there was no wild gamble, just a master negotiator with a golden contract. While the world saw danger and drama, Branson saw leverage and paperwork. He wasn't betting on luck, he was signing on certainty. Branson didn't buy a plane, he just kept calling Boeing again and again. 29 no's. Then one tired yes. Persistence, paid in gold. If Virgin Airlines failed, Boeing simply took the plane back. No loss, no crash, just a soft landing on zero downside. And this repeats everywhere. Walmart started with tiny stores in small towns nobody else wanted. While others chased shiny cities, Sam Walton planted his flag on dusty roads and quiet neighborhoods. He learned that opportunity hides where attention doesn't go. One shack, one chalkboard, a few curious neighbors. That's how a retail empire began. Sometimes the world's biggest ideas start in places labeled nobody's town. The Patel family bought motels they could run themselves with no staff. Mom checked in guests at the front desk. Dad fixed the leaks out back. Always dripping, always smiling. And the kids? They handled housekeeping with vacuums bigger than they were. It wasn't fancy, but it worked. They kept costs low, doors open, and profits steady. While others dreamed of five-star hotels, the Patels built a model that could multiply one budget motel at a time. Buffett only invests in businesses that already throw off cash. Not ideas that might pay someday, but engines that hum day after day. While others chase stories and promises, he just sits back, Coke in hand, watching the register ring all by itself. Because when cash flows in, before dreams do, you don't have to predict the future. You're already getting paid for it. The myth says a 9-to-5 job is safe and entrepreneurship is risky? But watch how the story really plays out. On one side, the office cubicle, grey, quiet, until one red stamp ends the comfort with a bang. Fired. On the other side, a tiny cloned cafe hums with customers and coin sounds. No illusion of safety, just controlled risk. And that's what Mohnish calls real security, owning the game instead of waiting for the next stamp. Most people think jobs are safe and startups are risky, but Mohnish flips that completely. To him, the real risk isn't jumping, it's staying. A job can vanish overnight. A boss can fire you in 5 minutes. You're tied to one income stream, and it's not even yours. One stamp, and security turns to fired. That's the trap. Mohnish warns about thinking safety comes from someone else's paycheck. Because if one decision can erase your income, you don't have a safety net. You are the net. So build one you own. Meanwhile, a cloned, low-risk business keeps multiplying, even while you sleep. One idea, copied smartly, refined carefully, and left to run on its own, grows quietly through the night, while the world rests. Customers still walk in, lights stay on, and cash keeps flowing. That's the dream Pabrai chased. Not to work harder, but to build engines that earn while he dreams. The real risk is reaching the end of your life and realizing you never played your music. You spent years tuning the strings, waiting for the right time, the perfect plan, the safer moment, until silence became your soundtrack. Mohnish calls that the ultimate loss, dying with your best ideas still inside you. So whatever your song is, play it. Even if the strings are dusty, even if your hands shake, play your tune before the spotlight fades, because silence was never the goal. And that's the wisdom of Mohnish Pabrai, compressed, digested, and told with a smile. 2 hours of podcast turned into 10 minutes of story and wisdom you can actually use. Another capsule complete. Until next time, keep growing with CartoonCast. Because wisdom is too valuable to be left buried in hours of talk. See you in the next episode of CartoonCast.